is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a heartbreaking scene today for members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Officers were continuing an island-wide search for one of their own when all hopes were dashed. The officer, who has been on the force for the past 11 years, was found dead in the Fortune Bay area. A missing persons bulletin began circulating on social media since Wednesday, asking for assistance in locating Corporal 3107 Jamal Munnings, an officer with the fire branch. On Friday, the fears of his family members and colleagues became a reality. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Emerick Seymour fought back the tears as he addressed members of the media.
Well, 3107 Munnings, who was scheduled to work on that shift, 8 a.m. He didn't report in for duty, and of course the commanding officer at the time, after he would have seen sufficient time would have passed, he raised the alarm because he knew that it was uncharacteristic of this officer not to report for duty during the time he was scheduled. And so he raised the alarm, and right away we went into action trying to locate the officer.
He says officers frantically searched all over Grand Bahama in hopes of finding Corporal Munnings, but it wasn't until Friday that their investigations led them to North Star off Fortune Bay Drive.
We went late into the night trying to locate the officer. Very late into the night, I can tell you. And then, of course, early this morning, I mobilized a team of officers from headquarters where we intended to search throughout the island of Grand Bahama from east to west in an attempt to locate this officer.
The police chief added that the missing officer's truck was discovered submerged in the canal, but his body was not inside. Sadly enough, the body was found a short distance away from the vehicle.
Our search ended just around midday, where we discovered the officer's truck in the canal just behind me there. And shortly thereafter, we discovered his body. Needless to say, we all distraught because we don't know the circumstances of the death. We don't know how he came by his demise. And so the investigation is on to make that determination.
Senior ACP Seymour says Corporal Jamal Munnings was found in plain clothes and his death has not yet been classified. He says the police are still in the preliminary stages of this investigation, so the circumstances surrounding his death are still unclear. Sources say the 33-year-old police corporal is married and has a young daughter. In other news, the government plans to introduce national health insurance throughout the country soon. Today, healthcare professionals on Grand Bahama came together for a special workshop to learn more about its significance and why it is needed nationwide. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
Physicians here in Grand Bahama hear the latest about the historic national health insurance plan. It is understood that this plan will cost the government in excess of $100 million. A cross-sector of local doctors from private and public facilities met at the Sir Charles Haywood Library to hear firsthand how NHI will impact not only their practices, but the country's entire healthcare industry. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Dowell, says its introduction is imminent as the government is forging ahead with its plan to put basic health care in the reach of all Bahamians, with the registration set to get underway on January 18th.
This program is for legal residents. Secondly, all beneficiaries will be able to choose a primary health care provider as our system is being built across a stronger primary health care delivery platform. That choice will include both the public sector and private sector facilities, depending on the beneficiary's preference. So we are not taking away choice.
While NHI is generating debate in many quarters, The minister moved to assure the medical practitioners that the health insurance plan will not only improve the overall delivery of health care, but act as a stimulus for the economy.
The implementation of national health insurance will definitely have a stronger economic impact to our country and will create the necessary engine for job creation. We're excited about it, and we're already seeing it now, even with the registration. With the registration of national health insurance, some 100+ individuals have already been hired as some of our IT specialists necessary for the registration process. Similarly, there will also be employment opportunities during the enrollment process because they are all very IT related.
Minister Darville, along with Permanent Secretary of the National Insurance Board, Peter DeVoe Isaac, says NHI is a program which time has come.
With the launch of this program, the government will be responsible for the financial aspect until such a time as we're able to put all of the necessary parameters in place.
Everyone we have spoken to, nobody has actually said that they don't support national health insurance. Nobody has. It is unbehamian. Bahamians are unhealthy. A social intervention, a government intervention in the health of our nation is essential.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Well, the coalition of concerned citizens staging a citizens march this afternoon, beginning from the parking lot of the Save More complex to the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Pastor Eddie Victor, convener of the coalition, says the demonstration was in direct opposition of the high electricity base rates, which Grand Bahamians have been plagued with over the past 3 years.
Grand Bahama is paying the highest base rate of electricity in the whole Bahamas. And the regulator, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, has allowed the rate of electricity to be high on this island for 3 years, higher than the rest of the Bahamas. And so now there's an application before them from the power company to increase the base rate of electricity. So what we're saying is enough is enough.
A group of supporters marched with the lead coalition to deliver letters to the chairman of the Port Authority, Sarah St. George, calling for a decrease in the base rate. Pastor Victor also making a public appeal to the government to assist Grand Bahama by making sure that the base rate does not increase. The power company has applied to the Grand Bahama Port Authority for a rate adjustment. That the coalition believes this adjustment could result in an overall increase in the cost of electricity.
In my hands right here, hundreds of signatures of citizens that are saying no increase. In fact, they're calling for a decrease of power. And this is just one batch. We've already delivered a few batches already. We're asking for the government to intervene in this and to safeguard the businesses and the citizens of Grand Bahama.
Now, the power company has denied any increase. The deadline for customer feedback on the issue is tomorrow, January 15th. The decision by the Port Authority is expected on January 29th. Switching gears now, residents of Bimini concerned about beach erosion. They say the vexing environmental issue is impacting the island's tourism industry. Joan Davis-Roll has that story.
As residents of Smiths Point, Grand Bahama, continue their call for the construction of a seawall,
I like to see the seawall get done. I like to see the seawall get done because it'll be a game changer for the neighborhood and for the residents.
now a similar call is being made on another northern island known as a gateway to the Bahamas, Bimini. With beach erosion eating away at the island's precious resources, this Bimini resident, Donna Grant, is expressing concern.
It's been a long time, and every time I go to a town meeting, I bring this up, and people know the minute I stand up, they know what I'm going to talk about. Because this has been happening for too long. This has been going on for too long. Something needs to be done.
Grant knows that as more of the sea covers the land, many homes in this coastal community are being threatened.
I would love to see some, either a wall or something put in place to keep the beach where it is. A lot of houses are on this top street, and we are in danger of being washed away pretty soon because every time we have bad weather, the sand washes away. Some sand was placed there the other day. A lot of sand was there. I knew it wasn't going to stay there. everybody knew it was going to stay there. So why put it there and not put something in place to keep it, to hold it, so it wouldn't get washed away?
This native of Bimini is also calling on the powers that be to effectively address this vexing situation.
The government needs to put something in place, or some of these people who are investing into this island, they need to do something. Something drastically needs to be done before homes get washed away.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this.